Granted a charter in 2010 by the South Carolina Public Charter School District and opened in 2011, the SC Whitmore School, whose motto is School Your Way, has been providing hundreds of at-risk youth the opportunity to get their high school diploma on their own terms at their own pace. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with John Loveday, principal, and Ebone Adams, assistant principal of the Mastery-based virtual high school, and talk with them about their 21st century approach to education. John, Ebone, how are you doing today?
Doing well.
Great. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for asking. Want to start off with you, John. Would you tell me a little bit about SC Whitmore School?
Definitely. So SC Whitmore School was actually founded by a South Carolina parent. Her name was Ellen Ray, and she actually lived here locally in the Midlands. And her own daughter struggled at a traditional brick and mortar high school. And her husband found a private online high school. And her daughter did very well and actually finished high school. And so after that experience, Ellen thought, well, why isn't there a public virtual mastery-based school like this for all students in South Carolina? So she actually did the research and she founded the school. She opened the school in 2010. Our first year was actually in 2011. And from then we've helped hundreds of students across South Carolina finish high school. And what makes us different than the other virtual schools, there are a few others in South Carolina. Again, one, we were founded by a parent. We're only here in South Carolina, and we're mastery-based. And what mastery-based simply means is learning is a function of time. So every child learns how to tie their shoe. Some kids can learn that in a week, some kids it takes 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, you learn how to tie your shoe, and that's what's important. And so at a mastery-based school, you're given courses, and you progress through those courses at your own pace. So if you're very strong at math, you may fly through your math courses. But if you're not as good in English, you could take a little bit longer to master that content. So we don't have semesters here. You progress either slower or faster depending on the course. And that ultimately can mean you can finish high school early in 3 years, or you can take the traditional 4 years, or if you need even more time than 4, you can do that but still finish high school and still meet your potential.
Okay. When you say public, are you state supported or are you private?
Yeah, so we're a public charter school.
Okay.
And so what that simply means is if you live here in the Midlands, and let's say you go to Lower Richland High School or Dutch Fork, Irma, whichever, if you leave that brick and mortar high school and you transfer to a school of choice, a public school of choice like a charter school, the funding simply follows you from that one school to the other. And so when students enroll at our school, it doesn't cost any money. The enrollment process is the exact same as it is at any traditional public school. And the benefit of us is that you can go to school. Our school logo is School Your Way. So you can log in at any time of day. You can log in at night, on the weekends. You actually can even work in the summer in order to catch up or accelerate.
Okay. Give me an idea about what type of students are you looking for?
So in our charter, we actually target at-risk students. And at-risk is a very broad term, but essentially what that means for us is students that are at risk of not finishing high school. And there can be a lot of reasons why a student would not finish high school. It can be that they're living in poverty, or their parents didn't finish high school, or they're mobile and they're having to work to support the family. They could be bullied. There could be a lot of reasons why kids don't finish high school. So we target at-risk kids in order to give them another option. A lot of times students come to us and they're not successful at their previous school. And so we want to engage them and re-engage them so they don't drop out. But what's interesting though, is we do get the at-risk kids, but we also get kids, because this is mastery-based, because you can accelerate, we do get kids that are actually on the other end of the spectrum and they want to finish high school early. So we had our graduation actually 2 weeks ago on June the 3rd here in Columbia, and we had a handful of kids that finished high school in 3 years. So that's the neat thing, is we can have kids at our graduation that finish high school in 3 years, and we see kids that maybe need 4, 5, or even 6 years. But at the end of the day, we know those kids with a high school diploma are now empowered with choice. They can go to a college, they can go to a university, they can enter the job force or job training. Without a high school diploma, you really can't do a lot nowadays. And so we want to empower those kids with a choice and options in life.
Okay. Ebony, can you speak to me about the enrollment? How many are currently enrolled?
Sure. We currently have about 420 students enrolled. We started with 88 students in year one, and we've grown to 425. So it was very exciting to see the student population grow, and that is basically through referral base. And students are very satisfied with our school. They tell their friends and their families about us, and that's how enrollment grows. And we have our teachers who do orientation, and it's all by word of mouth. That's how our enrollment grows. And then we have marketing. We have our teachers and staff wear school swag gear, and folks who aren't familiar with our school, they ask questions about what South Carolina Whitmore School is all about, and that gives us an opportunity to explain what we do, what we are, and what type of students we serve. And so we attract a lot of students who could be beneficial, who can benefit from our school.
Okay. Now, do you get school students from all over South Carolina?
Yes, the entire state of South Carolina. And now that we're going into our 7th school year, a lot of school counselors from other schools recognize that we can supplement that help some of the students who are successful in a traditional school setting. Now they know more about South Carolina Whitmore School. They just are starting to refer more students here.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would that referral process work? How does a student get into the school?
They search online. Those who don't know anything about us, if they just Google, South Carolina Whitmore School, an online school, our school pops up. Any outside or school counselors or any administrator from another school, they would just call us and we'll explain what our school is all about. They'll end up speaking with one of the school counselors and they'll connect and kind of figure out, is this the best situation for a student? So it's a really great referral process. Yeah.
And for the most part, there's no charge to the parents.
It's all free. It's all free. Yes.
Not at all.
Or is there any extracurricular activities, sports that you guys do?
I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
So, and that's a common question we get. And a lot of folks think that if they leave their local traditional brick and mortar high school, that they would lose the option of playing sports or being in the ROTC or the band. And so there is actually a state chartered law that allows students the ability to still play sports at their local brick and mortar high school, even though they're in a charter school. So if a student, again, played basketball at Irmo High School, if they transfer from Irmo High School to us, they could still play basketball, they could still be in the band, they could still be in ROTC while being enrolled with us. And the state did that because they knew that all charter schools across the state could not feasibly have sporting teams and bands, especially schools like us that are virtual. So yes, they can still do that. You can have best of both worlds.
Okay. What is how many alumni do you currently have now that have graduated from the school?
Right. This school year is about 80 so far,
Okay.
and then we have the extended school year. Our school continues through the end of July, and probably another 30 or so will graduate by the end of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that there are no semesters, so essentially you could start in the middle of the year if you wanted to.
We do. We get kids sometimes that come to us maybe in January at that semester break, and they realize that this half of the school year hasn't gone very well, and so they're looking for options now because they want to salvage that school year, but also they want to get back on track and finish high school. So we get students all the time that come to us maybe in November, January, really all throughout the year. And it's a lot of times they come here and they realize that they really like this. And so the neat thing about, I think, our school is in previous generations, there was typically one school that was built in one community and it served everybody. And it was sort of a one-size-fit-all. And traditional schools still serve a lot of students very well. But we know this cannot be a one-size-fit-all anymore, that we need options for kids and for parents. And for us, if you give options, you empower parents, you empower students. And always kind of jokingly say, but it's relevant, if you go to CVS, you look down the toothpaste aisle. There's probably 20 different brands, there's 20 different flavors. And in public education, at least in the past, there were no options. There was one school, and that's the only place you would go, unless your family could afford to send you to a private school. And we know a lot of kids in the state can't afford a private school. So charter schools, in my mind, empower parents and students with choice. And every charter school is different by design. So there are Chinese immersion schools that are charter schools here in the Midlands. There are charter schools that focus on math and science, STEM high schools, schools like us that are virtual. And we're not going to be a good fit for every kid, but we know that we're a good fit for a lot of kids. And so for our school, we're a safe, judge-free place to learn and to go to school. One more neat thing about our school that I like to share is that, when kids log in, they are largely judged on the work that they submit. And so it's not about what clothes they're wearing, what they look like. The teacher sees their work and they're judged based on their work. And, we hope in society, a lot of times people are judged on what they can produce, what can they do, what skills they have. And so we think it's neat for kids to have that option to be able to prepare for life in a safe learning environment.
Okay. Are there any offline academic support programs? I'm thinking in terms of tutoring or SAT prep, because students that may be having difficulties in regular school may need that extra support.
Yeah, we actually offer both of those. We have SAT, ACT prep courses. We have a tutor specifically in math. So students who are struggling, they can book appointments with the tutor, and the tutor can meet with them in a platform called Adobe Connect, and then where they just sign on and meet with the teachers, and they can interact one-on-one or face-to-face if the teacher decides to use the webcam. But those are the platforms that we use.
So it's virtual tutoring. So you could be anywhere in the state.
Yeah, and we've had students who are are local who would come to our office and meet with a counselor or a teacher and go in one of our guest offices or in here. The think tank room is what we call it, and kind of meet one-on-one and discuss face-to-face if that helps them.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really putting technology
in
use.
Definitely. And we also, to add to the social aspect, we actually offer field trips too.
Yeah.
And they're regional too. So if you live here in the Midlands or in the upstate or low country, we have faculty and staff that live all over the state. And so we offer parents and students a chance to get to know other parents and students so they can make those connections and they can build that support structure for them.
Okay. Or in terms of curriculums, how different or similar would you say your curriculum is to the public school system?
It's similar in the sense that it's the same standards. And so since we're a public school, we have to all follow the same standard. Now, how you teach that standard, you can teach one standard in 20 different ways. We think that the way we deliver our curriculum is unique. One, because it is mastery-based. It's not about seat time, or it's not about the chapter test since on Friday, ready or not, it's coming. It's about when are you ready. We also, obviously being a virtual school, we rely heavily on technology, on interactive software and things that I think can get kids excited and engaged. Our students do not receive physical textbooks. All the information is online. Any resource they need, we send it to them directly. So it is a different way of learning, but at the end of the day, you're learning the same standards that you would at any high school in South Carolina, and it's preparing you for a South Carolina high school diploma that, of course, you can take anywhere in South Carolina. And we've had alumni that have gone on to 2- and 4-year colleges here in South Carolina, USC, Clemson. We've had students that have gone to international schools, even the military. So students can go anywhere from our school.
Okay. Is there any support for maybe a family that may not have access to a computer at home and internet? Is there any kind of assistance in getting them to libraries or anything of that nature where they can go to school?
Definitely. Well, and that's something that we do here sometimes. If families come to us, and we help them problem solve with that. Right. So, sometimes students, they may have to use grandmother's house for the internet if their family doesn't have one, or they might have to use their uncle's computer. But we don't need necessarily the fanciest computer at our school to be successful here. You just need a pretty basic computer that in order to run our programs. So families don't need to feel like they need to go out and spend $1,000 on a computer to be at our school. But also there are some state and federal programs that we can help students that are low income in order to gain access to internet. And also we can help with computers and so forth, or at least give them avenues to find computers. But it's neat because we actually have a very solid public library system in South Carolina, and we have a lot of students that do work at the library in their communities because they don't maybe have access to internet or a computer at home. So we'll help parents and students troubleshoot and find ways to get through that obstacle.
Okay, that's awesome. If somebody wanted to find out some more information about the school, how would they get in contact with you
They
guys?
would call us, and they'll speak with the office manager or the enrollment coordinator. They can call our phone number 866-476-6416, or go to our website sc.whitmoreschool.org.
Okay. Ebony, John, thank you for taking time to sit down with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.